Save big with Kroger's 12 Merry Days of Deals. From December 4th through the 15th, you can clip a hot new deal each day on our app or website. And if you're a Boost member, you can save even more. So don't miss out and be sure to check our app or website every day from December 4th through the 15th to clip each day's hot new deal. It's 12 Merry Days of Deals, a holly jolly way to save for the holidays at Kroger.
At Sierra, discover top workout gear at incredible prices, which might lead to another discovery. Your headphones haven't been connected this whole time. Awkward. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
Add excitement to your holidays with Ohio Lottery Holiday Scratch-Offs, including $1 holiday cash and $5 holiday lucky times 10, or holiday bonus millions with a 200 times multiplier and a $2 million top prize. Plus, enjoy second chance drawings where you can win 10 times, 100 times, or 1,000 times the price of your ticket. Scratch-Offs make the perfect gift, and best of all, there's no wrapping required. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to another Scouser Tommies on Anfield Index. I'm Jim Boardman, and as always, I'm with Jay Reid. But in that time of year now, countdown to Christmas, you can't avoid it no matter how much you want to, or if you do want to. You've got to just accept now. It's inevitable. It's on its way. And for football, that means a mad rush of fixtures, loads and loads of big fixtures close together. But then you think to yourself, well, that's how football is all the time, really. And it's none different right now for us. We haven't that long since done a Scouser Tommies, but since then, Liverpool have played 3 games. And we've got another one coming the day after we record this in like less than 24 hours, basically. So we're trying to get the shows out as quick as we can. But the Premier League, the way it's going, we're just going to have to keep the podcast channel open constantly and just keep doing podcasts all the time, because it feels like there's a game an hour after the end of the last one all the time. Those 3 games we just played, though, I mean, it'd be great if we could just talk about the first 2, because we beat Real Madrid, we beat Man City, and then, we drew against Newcastle. And I think between us, if we'd have said you're going to get sort of 2 wins and a draw out of those 3 games, I think they're the wins and draws you maybe would have wanted. Arguably, maybe in the Champions League, it didn't mean as much because of where we are in that table. But the message it sent to Real Madrid, I think, was something as well. Newcastle aren't as close to us in the league. So if you're going to give anyone points, maybe it's them. And that's kind of how I look at it now. That's my most philosophical way of looking at it. But yeah, if we just sort of, Jay, go back to those 2 games before we get on to the Newcastle game, and you'll feel like we're going to sort of contradict ourselves when we talk about the Newcastle game. But in those games, and certainly in the City game, we just looked like a team that had just worked everything out. We'd fixed all the problems of that we might have had under Klopp. We've kept all the good stuff we had under Klopp. We'd improved even then on stuff that was good under Klopp, and we just looked, I hate saying it too early in the season, but we looked like a team who were champions. We looked like a team who were fully and utterly accomplished and ready and knew what to do, knew how to win games, knew how to defend in games, knew how to manage games. It was just 2 games, I mean, especially the City game, it felt like there was very little we did wrong. And I know I did raw after both of those 2 games, but really the kind of things that you're picking up on after those games aren't major things. It's more like bits of constructive criticism, just because you don't want to spend an hour and a half talking about all the great stuff. But well, in a minute we're going to ask what happened, but first 2 games, that is the standard we need to be playing at now, as much as we possibly can for the rest of the season, because we got it right.
Yeah, as you said, you open the pod, like football is thick and fast, and those 2 games, especially the Real Madrid one, it seems like an absolute age ago when actually, as we record this on a Friday afternoon, it was like 9 days or something like that. And but yeah, we're in apparently the most wonderful time of the year, but looking out the window and listening to the wind howl, I don't think the weather's really suggesting it, but the football in isolation, you had those two games were sensational. There was that essence of a little bit of clock ball in there, like the nostalgic sort of, hectic end-to-end, we'll counter you as fast as we can and just put you to bed ruthlessly. But also, elements of what we've got used to this season under Arne Slot in the controlled, we will pick out the time and the chances, and we know when to keep hold of the ball if the opportunity doesn't really present itself. I'm thinking more, in essence, to the Man City game, when we got our second goal and, sat watching from the upper Annie Road end, seeing Szoboszlai and Curtis Jones and Ryan Gravenberch literally take the piss out of Man City and keep hold of the ball and think, well, no, we'll just go to the corner, we'll do a few step overs, a few back heels. The old ladies were coming out, and obviously we'll get onto certain chants and certain people's reactions to that from the Man City game. But, as you say, I think we didn't need to win the Champions League game, and I think we said that before on the last pod. It was sort of a free hit in football in terms, because we didn't need the points, but if we got them, it would be a massive bonus. And I think, obviously, as you say, the manner of the performance sends a message to Real Madrid and sends a message, to the rest of Europe that, okay, Liverpool might be top of the leagues at this early stage of the season, but can you prove it on the big stage? When the big boys rolled into town in Real Madrid, in Man City, two very convincing wins. I don't think anybody could have had any arguments in the footballing world, really, that after those two games, the result was certainly in our favour. However, we had to fast forward it to what happened this week, and if we're on a run of, as I've just looked at it, we're dropping points every 8 games this season. So, if it rolled it back all the way to the Forest game, and then we went on an 7-game winning streak, and the 8th game was Arsenal, where we dropped a couple of points away from home. But, if you call it dropped points, a draw at Arsenal away from home, and again, given the manner of the performance in the game, it was a point gained. And then we went another 8-game winning streak. 7-game winning streak, and the 8th game was Newcastle this midweek. And again, in isolation, you think St James's, they've beat City, I think, this season there. I think they beat or drew Arsenal as well. And after, a short sequence of games, if, as you say, you were picking someone to drop any points to, it would be better not dropping them to Newcastle than Arsenal, Manchester City as title rivals. But now, what do we do? Do we go on a 7-game winning streak? That would be delightful, starting this weekend, and we'll get to what that is. But it's not the end of the world. I think more so the feeling from the Newcastle game was, we were so bad. At half-time, if someone had offered us a draw, you would have bit their hand off. But then when you fight so hard and you get yourself to a point of being in control and winning the game, or being in the lead, the manner of how we conceded the equaliser just left a sucker punch feeling like it was a defeat. But, level-headed, take away, everything else, trip to Newcastle midweek after the, intense run of games. It's not a bad point to pick up, and obviously we are still top of the league. We will still be top of the league after this weekend. It's more a case now of, the gap, as people are putting it, is 7 points. Can we possibly at least keep that to 7 points, or if anyone else drops points, make sure we do our business and try and reopen it back up to 9 or 10?
Yeah, and I think there was an element that we'd played so well. I mean, I just bigged up how great we were in those two games, and there was almost an element that you feel like, my God, if we play like this all season, we've won the league, there's no doubt. We've won the Champions League, there's no doubt. And then, when you're actually a bit more realistic about it, and maybe, learning from past times as being a fan of this club, you can't play like that every game. It doesn't work out that way. Injuries are going to come and things like that. They tend to. You're going to have dodgy referees. That's not, it does happen, in football, dodgy referees every so often, in case you hadn't heard of that. There's games where it can just go against you. And I think, in a way, maybe one bonus as well about the draw against Newcastle is there was that reminder that, you can play great. We've played great. We've won those games. We've earned it. We've had to work for that. And we're going to have to keep working like that all the way through the season. We can't afford to think to ourselves, oh, we're so good, we can just ease off a bit, because we're not. That's just not, that just won't happen. If you think that, it'll just go against you. We are really good, but to be really good, we've got to give it everything like we have. And the other side to it, though, to me, is just literally how quick those games are coming. Like you've just said, 9 days since Madrid. Madrid, City, Newcastle, all big games in whatever way. There's games against rich clubs, maybe one way of putting it, to put the what they've got in common. Eddie Howe, sort of a Roy Hodgson kind of a boss who can work out how to play against the team sometimes, and maybe can't get through a whole season winning everything, but can definitely get you some of the big games and get yourself recognised like that. I'm surprised he's still at Newcastle, in all honesty. I don't think he's going to bring them the level of success that they want, but on odd games like that, he's definitely got it, and that crowd can be so behind that team. Just to make it worse for me, I didn't actually see the game live. I was actually at a gig. I was in Leeds, of all places, because I didn't want to go to, the people I was with didn't want to go to see the gig at the Co-op Live, because they've got nothing but bad memories of going to the Co-op Live arena, because it wasn't great. Good sound, but everything else was awful, was the way of putting it. So we went to Leeds instead, which isn't too far away. Certainly not that far coming home on a night when there's no traffic. But it was Sam Fender we were watching, who's a big Newcastle fan, of course, as is all his band. And so he was giving us score updates through the game, but loads of people in the crowd were sort of like trying to watch it on the phone. I managed to watch the first 15 minutes, but after that, it was just these sporadic goal updates coming through, and then Sam Fender might mention what the score was, and I'm just thinking, this is going to end 4-3, isn't it? Of course, I had no idea what the game was actually like. I just heard these score lines, and when I've watched it back, I've sort of watched it maybe not as intently as I would have done if I'd watched it live, but I see a team that was still getting lots of stuff right, but it just felt like we were just creeping in with some of those old mistakes. And it's sad that, really, when you think about it, against City, Virgil made a mistake against Haaland, and Queves saved him. Queves rescued him, the keeper. Every player makes a mistake at some point in a game, just probably every game, at least one mistake. We can think of a few defenders who've made more than one mistake in a game. But, you make mistakes, they happen. Quite often, we've got someone else as a kind of backstop to that. Even when the keeper makes mistakes, we've got times when, the fullback will be running in and clear it off the line. We've seen that plenty of times with Trent and Robbo, for example. It just feels like on Wednesday night against Newcastle, looking back at this game, that, the opener from them was a worldie of a goal. I can't really, you'd be pushing it to fault anyone, but I think you get to the last one, and it's just such a shame, so late on in the game, and it just feels so avoidable. But I'm sure that keeper won't do it again. But I've just been reading, I think it was that day that Slot was basically coming along the lines of, well, because Kelleher's played so well, we don't need to worry about rushing Alisson back in too soon. And I'm just wondering whether he's had a change of heart on that. He'll say one thing in the press. I wonder if that's made him sort of realise, maybe there is, there's a reason why Alisson cost all that money.
Yeah, I think, what Kelleher has given us just this season alone, given obviously Alisson's injury issues, you can't thank the man more than enough. And, occasional errors, and that's rare. I can't honestly think of many other occasions where Kelleher has made an error or anything as glaring as that. Maybe some people would clash, with a dodgy bit of footwork or whatever, but that's just the way the modern keepers play the game, and they do sort of live on the edge and whatever. But, when you think of keepers that we've had in the past, and you think of, the issues we had with Karius, and albeit there's some of them were caveats, but, there was a couple of handling issues alongside that, and you think of Mingele had problems. You can wind it back even further. You think of Clamity James and all that. Vector bringing that issue.
You never had confidence with the keeper, did you? Like, that's the thing. You always had. You always knew the goalkeeper had a mistake in him. But you didn't have that feeling of security.
And this is really the only time you could say, that's the first time he's made a bit of a risk. And, he will know more than anyone, that was just something that, goalkeeper manual, it probably on the first page, and at the end of the game, if there's a cross coming, you do whatever you can, you milk the clock in any way. And whether he was thinking, I'll let it drift over my head and let the ball roll towards the corner flag, I'll take all the time in the way, I'll get in the corner, getting the goal kick out and blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, he could have done the old, Alisson against Everton sort of vibe. Again, this weekend is sort of in the mindset of, when Jordan Pickford thought it would be funny to try and time waste, and then Alisson done it back after, the time waste is when you actually are in the lead. And really, Kelleher will look at that and he probably had nightmares thinking, I just did catch the ball, go down, milk it, he probably would have got just as much time as he would have let it go for a goal kick or whatever. But these things happen. As I said earlier, we were more than lucky to get out of there with the points given our performance in the first half. I was watching sporadically in work because we weren't meant to be watching the game, but we weren't working properly. So, it was half an eye on the game, half an eye doing some work. And, I would say I've probably seen 75% of the game, and it wasn't our best. But if this weekend Kelleher starts in goal, we will be fine. Like, everybody will have all the confidence in saying, right, when the first cross comes in at any opportunity, probably within 30 seconds, because it's Everton and they love a cross on a long ball, get up there, claim it, get your hands on it, get down on the ground and just take a moment. If it's Alisson, then we know what Alisson can do. It'd be absolutely fine. Either way, whoever is starting in goal for us tomorrow, I'm sure when this podcast is out, people may have the game probably will have happened, and we'll know. But it's just one of them situations, he'll dust himself down. I imagine the type of fella that Arne Slot is, that, he's not one to blow his lid. He's probably really sat down and tried to reinstate all the confidence in him, and, he'll be fine. Like, he's a really, really, really good keeper. So, yeah, it's a situation that you don't like to see happening, but at the end of the day, it didn't really cost us too much. Yes, possibly 2 points, but it wasn't Man City at home and cost us the game there, or when you think of, unfortunately, the situation with Loris Karius in the Champions League final, it was a huge stage, and the issues that night sort of cost us the final. So yeah, he'll be fine. I have every confidence in him if he is starting tomorrow, and fingers crossed, he will get that moment early on to just grab hold of the ball and settle himself down, because what, that shower of life there, they'll be giving it fuck. All the lower league stuff that you get, like the when the keeper's going to kick the ball, because there's not much excitement in their lives.
This episode is brought to you by Disney Plus. Game on, because ESPN Plus content is available on Disney Plus. You can watch your favorites from Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus together like never before. With ESPN Plus, unwrap a full day of NBA action on Christmas Day. Tip off the festivities with the Spurs and Knicks, followed by the Mavs and Timberwolves. Then a clash between the Lakers and Warriors, followed by the 76ers and Celtics. And finally, the Nuggets face off against the Suns, all streaming December 25th. Then with Hulu, watch the terrifying sci-fi thriller Alien Romulus, where a group of young space colonizers come face to face with the ultimate horror. And on Disney Plus, follow the adventures of 4 kids across the galaxy as they meet unlikely allies and enemies in Star Wars Skeleton Crew, starring Jude Law. All of these and more now streaming and available with a bundle subscription. Visit disneyplus.com for details. Terms apply.
I don't need a VPN. I've got nothing to hide. Ha. This is what I used to tell myself before I hooked up with LibertyShield.com. Not only is my home internet now fully encrypted, but I can now access all the websites I want, whenever I want, and do so from absolutely anywhere. As a Liverpool fan, I love to know I can now watch every match, regardless of whether it's on UK TV or not. My Liberty Shield VPN makes sure nothing is blocked and guarantees me super fast streaming speed throughout that match. You can get connected right now with their software package, which includes a 48-hour no-obligation free trial and instant access to their apps for Apple, Android, Fire TV, PC, Mac and Android TV. Or go a step further like I have and get one of their pre-configured VPN routers. These small but powerful devices allow you to easily connect every device in your home to VPN, making it the perfect solution for smart TVs, Mac boxes and games consoles. Visit libertyshield.com today and use coupon code AIVPN25 to get 25% off at checkout.
No, there hasn't been. I mean, there was the other night, as you were saying, just before we came on as well. But we'll get onto them properly shortly. I'm sure we have to, don't we? We can't go by a week without mentioning them. There's always something to laugh at, even if it is that when you're kind of laughing at, oh, look at him, oh, they won, don't they look so happy for a change? Anyway, I think the other thing about him as well, he's just got to remember that he's done so much right. I mean, if you were a goalkeeping coach and really been strict with him and stuff, even on this podcast, we've said little things about him that you'd like him to change in his overall game. But, he doesn't need to make wholesale changes. He's done most things right. And, what he did against Newcastle was just a mistake. I mean, looking at the replay, I wondered if he thought he was like a sort of a yard further back towards goal than he was or something, or half a yard. And, didn't realise how much room someone would have, whether he should have had a shout. And you can go on and on about it. I think the thing is that he's not going to do that again. That's one thing he won't do again. He knows now. There might come an occasion where we think, why didn't you just let it go? Because you didn't quite catch it. You put it out for a corner. Now we've got a corner. I'd rather have the corner than go through that again. And I'm sure he'd be the same. It's just one of those things, isn't it? The other thing out of that game though was, Salah set up Jones's goal. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, it was 3-3, but we scored 3 great goals. I'm not talking about the middle goal that they scored because of who scored it, because that really would make their day over the park, won't it? But the 3 of our goals, Salah was the assist for 1 and got the other 2. Jones, that was a great goal from him. But again, everyone's just talking about Salah and the new contract. There is a rumour that maybe something's done, but it feels like wherever the club are doing it, I just hope they're going to sort something out pretty soon, because it's like, what is it, 19 days till Christmas, so another week after that till the end of the year, then he can go. There's a scene we're all hoping to see. But I think if there's ever been a player who's trying to prove that he deserves a new contract, I don't think I've seen a player in all my time as a Liverpool fan who's done such a good job of proving it. Certainly not these last few weeks. He's just been... I mean, okay, you missed a pen, so I suppose there is that side to it. But that's it. I mean, you're looking at odd things that you can say about him. And even in a game when he's sort of quiet, and it's how he's been a lot of the time, there's many a time you thought, may as well take him off, he's doing nothing. 2 minutes later, he scores. He's just... He's one of the big... He's not the only player in the team. We've got so many good players, so many important players, but he is sort of, at times, he is the difference between winning and losing, he thinks. He's that one thing that just makes that difference.
Yeah, I mean, he's sensational, isn't he? Like, and there was a time, possibly, last season or whatever. And I think I said it myself. Like, have we seen the best of Mo Salah? I think,
yeah.
It was more the Mo Salah that we got used to, the Mo Salah that arrived at Liverpool. The electrifying pace. The leaving defenders for absolute dead, and he's still doing it. Like it's more now. Very much, he's 3 or 4 steps ahead of players. His brain is so advanced. His body is a temple, as we've all seen, and I'm sure he's more than happy to show us. And I mean, if you'd had like 20% of the shape that he's in, you'd be more than happy. But he's altered his game, and we've seen the creative numbers. And you think back to the Man City game, that ball for Gakpo. There was a freeze image of like where Salah is, and he's facing up the defender. I can't honestly say who the defender was on the day. Maybe it was Diaz, and then Ake is basically on the 6-yard line, and Walker is possibly in front of Gakpo, and then obviously the keeper, who we might mention about his words in a minute. But there was nowhere really that Mo Salah could have put that ball, yet he still managed to thread it through the absolute eye of a needle and basically said to Gakpo, you just go and stand there and it's going to hit you and go in. I'm basically telling you, just go and stand where I want you and I'll get that ball to you. And obviously the other night again, the assist for his assist for Jones's goal.
Yeah.
And he's now broken the Premier League record of games, was held by a certain Scouser who played for the Everton United. I think it was 36 games with a goal and an assist, and now he's broken it and gone ahead. You know, the hashtag only Mo Salah, should be, something that's trademarked because he's breaking records left, right and centre. And as you say, if this is a fella who's begging for a contract or, the question's being asked, well, let's see how you look, let's see how you go this season, and we'll sit down at some point and say whether you deserve it or not. Like, it's not a point of if he deserves anymore. Like, it's just got to happen because, this fella, if he left the club in the summer, there is nobody in the world of football, and I mean nobody, no matter what the experts at the club might think in terms of data recruitment, you are not replacing him like for like without it costing you an absolute fortune. And then you're still gambling on the fact that, a player might come in and produce what he's doing. It financially, yes, he might be asking for a lot of money. But if you were to buy a player and paid him the wages of that standard and calibre who could come in and give you the goals, the assists and everything else he gives you, it's going to cost you a lot more. So realistically, it should be a no-brainer. We're all just hoping, at the most wonderful time of the year, the closer we get to Christmas, that a couple of presents are underneath the Christmas tree at Anfield and, we unwrap them and it's contract renewals because, just him alone, we haven't even got onto the other two, he deserves it. And, the fans basically have done everything they can to say, give the fella what he wants. Now, I mean, contract length, money, whatever, it's just got to happen.
I think the hashtag, and I want to see an image out Christmas Eve, the three of them in front of the Christmas tree holding the contracts up with, and all across the social media, the hashtag We Three Kings. That would sort of the King of Egypt, the King of Liverpool, and the King of Holland or whatever. It's got to be done. It's got to be done. And you're right. I think even if you could find a player, I mean, even if you could, and you will. I mean, the stats people. I'm sure that FSG, the way FSG think, with doing stats and all the rest of it, you'll find players who've got something along the same lines and maybe offer some things that Mo doesn't and all the rest of it. Then with age, you can kind of think, well, how long, for 5 years, say, how much will we get out of this player compared to what we get out of Mo? But if you're doing it like that, you're going to spend. You're lucky if you get a new player come to any club, no matter how good they are, and they actually hit the ground running from the off. It always takes time to settle in. And in some cases, they never settle. There's so many signings up and down the country of clubs where they've paid a lot of money for a player who's going to be the next big thing and the answer to all the problems, and he turns out not to be because it just wasn't right. It wasn't the right fit for him. There's so much goes into that as well. It's just if it's a player based in this country already, then maybe you won't mind moving up here. But if it's a player from overseas, he might have trouble settling. His family might not like it. The weather's great, driving home over the Pennines the other night, it was loads of fun. I saw that as well. I believe Liverpool had to get the coach home as well. They couldn't fly home because the Newcastle airport's been resurfaced, the runway's been resurfaced. So I saw a thing that they had to come home on a coach. And I'm thinking, God, if they were on the motorway at the same time as us, they'd have been getting blown about. But yeah, there's so much into it, isn't there, to get a player to settle in. And I just think you've done half the battle when the player that is in your squad is already the player that you want. And I get that he's not going to last for 5 years. I mean, he might do that, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if he did. But I totally get that if you're being sort of, serious about it, you might say, well, yeah, he's not going to last 5 years. But I just think, just get him in, get him some kind of contract that works for him, works for us. There's no reason you'd pay him any less than he's paying him now for the way he's playing now. So maybe something that maybe he tails off if it's not working out. Maybe a transfer fee in that, in say a 3-year deal that, like we did with Suarez when we got him his new deal. There was a release fee amount in there, so we could sell him for that amount, and he could get his deal, and he knew he could get it. There's all that you can sort of build into it just to make it work, just make it work. And I honestly think he'd want to as well. I think we haven't got a better time. We haven't had a better time to persuade players to maybe take a little bit less, if that's what we're thinking of, or maybe just bend a little bit to our demands, than when you've just beaten Real Madrid and you've just beaten Man City. Because, arguably they're two of the clubs you might most want to go and play for, or the sort of level you want to play at. And when we've just humbled them, you're thinking, do you really want to leave us and go and play for them? And this isn't like when Raheem Sterling wanted to join Man City that time. Whatever you think of Raheem, you kind of get the logic of where he was coming from. Leaving us struggling under Rodgers, maybe not playing, it's still quite a way short of being where we want to be, at least under Rodgers, or go and play for Man City. I mean, if you take the emotions out of it and just think logically, you can kind of see where he's coming from. It wouldn't be very logical to me as a player like any of those three to go and join someone like Real or Man City now. And I don't think Virgil wants to. I don't know what Mo's got up his sleeve. I've just got a feeling, it's going to be sorted. And the sooner the better, because then we can start talking about the football again, because there's plenty of it. Starting up next, let's get on to the derby, because you can't get. The trouble is the football's been so thick and fast that it's not even felt like derby week. I know it's sort of like you sort of having to do this one game at a time thing, and then you suddenly realise, it's them next, isn't it? And like last year, it fell. I would say when we played the derby at Goodison last year, we've been on a bit of a spell where we'd thrown everything we could at sort of keeping going on our aim for more trophies, and we'd just fallen short. And I think we were just a bit demoralised, and we were just, although technically we could still win the league, it was so far off, it was so far-fetched that I think we'd all, as players and as fans even, we're just sitting it out. We're done now. Can't do any more. We're done in. We need a rest. And then we go and play Everton, who's just managed to once again guarantee survival in the Premier League, their annual celebration for not going down. It just feels like maybe not quite to the same extent, but they've just won in midweek. It's like Christmas has come early for them. They know it's the last derby at Goodison, and not because they're going to be playing in a different division next season. It should be because the new ground's built, assuming they get that flooding thing sorted about that's been going around on the internet. I don't know, there's just that feeling. I know we could go into it thinking, God, we've just been demoralised. We've just dropped a point. It feels like it's a bad time to play them in some ways, but also to me, it just feels like it's a good time to play them because, they will be on a high. There will be a challenge for us. And I think we play best when we've got a real challenge in front of us.
Yeah, I think, as I said, I was in work the night and the Newcastle game was on, and alongside obviously numerous Evertonians, they got their biggest win of the season, albeit, they only scored 2 themselves, because that's what Everton do. The donkey Dawson had to rock up for Christmas and, do his best donkey impression and put 2 in for them as well.
Did Father Christmas score for him as well? Oh no, it was someone old. I wasn't sure. Someone was getting him.
Yeah. There's got to be some gifts handed out, and he was more than welcome to give 2. I think Craig Dawson just needs to stop football at his age now, especially at the top level. But yeah, it doesn't take much to light a fire under an Evertonian, good or bad, and albeit, given the manner of our game, the fellow who scored the second goal, who we won't mention, the outcome of our game in how it finished, added to the fact that they won 4-0 in a game that they had to win because their run of fixtures coming up, starting with this weekend in the derby, is pretty horrendous over the Christmas period. I think they've got to face Arsenal, City, us, and possibly Brighton in that, but I'm not sure because I'm not checking their fixture list. Either way, their tails are more than up for this derby. It's the last one, as you say, Goodison. Prior to this week's games, a lot of them was under the resignation of, you should be coming to Goodison Park and beating us. Use the top of the table. All the pressure's on you. You should be coming and beating us. But then, you fast forward at 24 hours and they've had a little victory and we've dropped a couple of points. Like, let's see how you handle it on Friday. And I mean, just let them have it. Let them have this belief, because what this game now is, it's probably the biggest derby I can remember for years, in terms of in the domestic, competition anyway. Obviously I can remember back to the FA Cup semi-final one. I was just thinking, you just don't lose a cup semi-final at Wembley to Everton, or obviously a cup final would have been even worse, but we managed to get through that. But it's an opportunity for us to right the wrongs of the other night, right the wrongs of that performance. Obviously said earlier on, opportunity for Kelleher to sort of settle himself and put in another performance. Maybe he's selected to start, which by the sounds of it, I think he is. I think, Slot said today that Alisson is close, but they won't take any risks with him. But yeah, it's the last one there. I've been informed that there's quite the banner from the Liverpool fans that's going to be displayed at Goodison tomorrow. So if anyone listens to this, if it's out before the game, keep your eyes peeled for that. If not, I'm sure hopefully it will have got in the ground in one piece and be displayed in all its glory. And then, we play early. It's an opportunity to put a performance out there, put ourselves, even further ahead before everyone else kicks off, and just say, well, all the pressure's now on everybody else, and rightfully put Everton back in their position, because last season, I think that was the most hurtful game of last season. It really, really hurt, because we were so bad in so many departments. We allowed ourselves to be bullied. We allowed ourselves to lower ourselves to their level. And, the weather, I've just seen it, like, they're expecting wind gusts of like 60, 70 mile an hour to whatever. Like, that stadium might blow down. There'll be health and safety warnings for any sort of flying debris, and it won't just be, the high balls that they'll be lumping into the box. It'll be literally potential sheets of metal flying off the stadium. So, best of luck to anyone.
Hey guys, it's Eddie Gibbs from Anfield Index here. I hope you're enjoying this podcast, and I'm sorry to call time on the show before it ends. In the current climate, it's tougher than ever before to offer podcasts for free. At Anfield Index, we produce over 75 free shows every month, which I'm confident is unparalleled in the LFC sphere. Whilst we'd love to offer everything for free, the production costs now make this impossible. That said, we don't want to follow the model of other channels and lock all of our content behind a paywall. So what we've decided to do is to continue offering every show for free, but cut that offering to 30 minutes on our longer shows. So to get all of our shows in full and enjoy the best of everything we have to offer, we really hope you'll consider supporting the channel and signing up at AnfieldIndexPro.com. For about the price of 1 cup of coffee, you'll get every podcast in full with 0 ads. You'll also get access to our LFC VIP community, where you can enjoy live podcasts, engage with our podcasters, and chat with other Reds in real time. So that website again, AnfieldIndexPro.com. Join today.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.